What's up, YouTube? This is Too Raw for TV. So, I just saw this, right? So, I start thinking, and I don't know the possibility of this happening, but it just popped in my head, so this is why I decided to do this video. So, I don't know if many of you know this. I don't know to talk about college basketball too much, but Bob Huggins just resigned as the head coach of the West Virginia Mountaineers. You may recall it was a couple of months ago that Bob Huggins got into a lot of trouble for something that he said. I think it was on a radio program. I think it was a Cincinnati radio program where he said some disparaging things about Catholics and the alphabet people. And that included uttering the F word several different times. If I recall correctly, he had his salary reduced. He was fined, and he was suspended a number of games, but he wasn't terminated. But the details surrounding his DUI arrest are alarming. And I'm already seeing people defending this guy. And this is the problem I'm having with people, with some people. On the one hand, we have people like John Morant who obviously are doing silly things, waving a meh, in front of cameras. That's stupid, right? It's stupid. It's dumb. You're ruining your brand. But what this clown did was so dangerous. It's a miracle he did not take someone out on the road. I'm talking about Bob Huggins. This guy had a blood alcohol level of .210. That's nearly 3 times the legal limit, and an intoxication level that's so dangerous it can put certain people in the hospital. He was so intoxicated. First of all, let me read from this article. I'm putting a pinned comment in the comment section below. The arrest came around 8:30 p.m. in Pittsburgh. Huggins was initially spotted outside of his car by an officer due to his GMC Yukon Denali blocking traffic after suffering a shredded tire. Huggins, who is 69, was unable to explain why his tire was destroyed and could not tell police what city he was in. Huggins could not tell us how he got to Pittsburgh, the criminal complaint states. Huggins provided police with a receipt from a Burger King in Washington, Pennsylvania, which sits 28 miles southwest from where he was arrested. The Burger King receipt was time-stamped from 7 hours earlier in the day. When questioned by police, Huggins could not detail what he'd been doing in the time between, and according to the complaint, didn't understand what police were asking him. Huggins also told police he believed he was in Columbus, presumably in reference to Columbus, Ohio, a city nearly 3 hours and 185 miles west from Pittsburgh. Officer Bertin asked Huggins approximately 10 times where he was actually at, and he never once responded with the current city he was in, according to the arrest report. Huggins failed multiple field sobriety tests and was released on bond Saturday. He has a preliminary hearing forthcoming, the date not yet having been determined. This is his second DUI arrest. The first came in 2004 when he was coaching at Cincinnati. My issue with this whole thing is this is a man that has an obvious alcohol problem. Instead, with that DUI, they included a dash cam video showing him puking out of his window after being stopped by police. He resigned from his post at Cincinnati less than a year later. Um, he could have injured someone easily, being that out of his mind, drunk. He could have easily injured or deleted someone's life or lives or himself. There's nothing funny about this. This man needs help. This ain't no woke conspiracy against him. This man needs help. Period. Seriously. So even though he resigned, I think he was forced out. I think the organization either gave him the option of resigning or he was going to be fired. Now, having said all of this, Joe Mazzulla pops in my mind because he's a former Mountaineer. I think he played there from 2007 to 2011. He's the current head coach of the Boston Celtics. That's very true. But I get the impression that Joe Mazzulla may not be happy with that position. That's the only reason why I'm doing this video, because I wonder if there's a part of him that may prefer the college ranks. There's probably a part of him, now that there's an opening with West Virginia. Because look, I never got the impression that Boston really has a lot of confidence in him. And there was already rumors that, hey, had Boston had Boston been swept against Miami, that they probably would have fired him. And that didn't happen. Boston was able to force a Game 7, but ultimately they had one of the worst performances of their season in Game 7. A very anticlimactic Game 7. And many Boston Celtics fans just look at Joe Mazzulla unfavorably compared to Ime Udoka, despite whatever he was accused of. Now, of course, Joe Mazzulla has that one blot on his record, and that was some type of, what was it, a arrest back in 08 or 09. I think it was something at a bar or somewhere. I think it was a domestic incident or something. But compared to the stuff that Bob Huggins has done, that's really nothing. So I'm asking you guys, do you guys think there's a possibility that Joe Mazzulla could resign as head coach of the Boston Celtics and take that job with West Virginia? I think there's a possibility of it. I don't know the likelihood of it. I can't put a percentage on it. I don't know these guys. I don't know their thinking processes. But I think there's a definite possibility of that. I mean, he's a former alumni. And matter of fact, if I'm not mistaken, let me look up Joe Mazzulla right quick. He has experience in the college ranks coaching. Shortly after he graduated in 2011, he was not drafted. He was offered a coaching job at Nova Southeastern, but turned it down to pursue professional opportunities. He did not find any suitable opportunities overseas. In September 2011, Mazzulla joined the Glenville State as an assistant. He was hired as an assistant at Fairmont State under Gerard Calhoun in 2013. And during the 2016-17 season, he served as an assistant for the Maine Red Claws of the G League. So he was a little collegiate experience in the G League. He was named head coach of Fairmont State in 2017. In his second season, Mazzulla led the team to a 22-9 record and appearance in the 2019 NCAA Division II tournament, where they lost in the first round to Mercyhurst 63-60 in overtime. And then he joined the Boston Celtics staff as an assistant. So prior to his hire with the Celtics in 2019, he had several years of experience as either an assistant head coach or a head coach in college. So yeah, I do think that that's his alma mater. I think there's a pretty good temptation, at least, a chance that he may resign. He's not fully entrenched there in Boston. You get the impression that there was a makeshift staff, they may not have really have wanted him to be the head coach, but he was just the natural best candidate at the time. A rush job. Yeah, maybe. So what you guys think? I think he might be tempted and leave West Virginia. Leave to go to West Virginia. Tell me what you guys think.